Hi everyone, I'm Lauren D'Amelio Ventre, and I have educated thousands of makeup artists over my 16-year career in this industry. I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm going to be talking about destination clients. I've been doing a ton of them. I've been getting so many questions asked about destination clients, destination brides specifically. There's so much that goes into it, right? There's the travel, there's the stay, there's the actual day of. If you're not pricing yourself correctly on these, you're going to be losing a ton of money on your travel, on your stay, even on the products that you're spending money on to work on these clients. Now, also, not only your expense being there, but not taking clients back at home, right? If you're not planning it correctly, you could be messing up someone's biggest day of their life, and they're flying you out to it. So destination weddings are such high pressure, but can be so much fun and highly rewarding. And I'm gonna teach you exactly what to do to successfully pull off a flawless destination wedding. First things first is travel expenses. We need to figure out how we're going to ensure that we're not coming out of pocket for our travel expenses. I'm gonna have a list for you guys attached to this video so that you could pull it up later on, just with everything that you should start taking into accountability. Some people like to hire a travel agent, and I think that's great as well. But if you want to be a little bit more hands-on with it, I'm gonna tell you exactly what you should be doing. So, first of all, you need to educate your client on everything that's coming out of your pocket to come to them. You get this inquiry to maybe, let's just say, go to Greece or Cabo, somewhere that you've always wanted to go. Oh my God, this is so cool. But make sure you stay calm, cool, and collected, because you don't want to blow all this money going to a client and lose so much money not being home taking other clients, right? So very important, stay calm, cool, and collected, and figure out all of your expenses. You need to talk to them about it throughout the process and be able to send them an accurate price list on what it will cost them around to hire you for that week or that day or those couple days. First of all, if it's an out of the country or a plane ride, it's going to take you at least 3 days, right? You need the day of travel. You should never be traveling on the day of the event. Why? Because of delays, because of cancellations. If you have a morning flight and your client needs to be done that afternoon, your flight's delayed or canceled, you're not getting to that client. That's not only gonna stress you out, but that's going to ruin their day. So you need to fly out the day before. Then you're going to be working on their event day, and then you're gonna fly out the next day. I don't recommend flying out the day of the event either, because let's just say the day runs a little bit late, or they wanna keep you a little bit longer because they didn't get all of the photos that they wanted in. Anything can happen in an event day. You don't wanna miss your flight going home. Again, more stress on you, or leaving your client where you're not completely satisfied with the job that you did. So, giving yourself the 3-day rule is very important, and I say that as a minimum is a 3-day rule. If your client has a multi-event wedding or a multi-day event that they're doing, let's just say there's a rehearsal dinner, then their wedding, and then maybe they even want you to do their makeup for brunch the next day. So now it's going to have those 3 event days plus your 2 travel days in there. Once you figure out exactly how many days you need to block off in your calendar, that is going to now help us establish what we should be charging, correct? You can keep your prices the same for like the bridal rate. If you're going there, you're charging the same bridal rate that you would charge at home, but it needs to be worth it for you to leave for those 3 days. So on the day that you're traveling, you should have a travel day rate. I normally consider that to be about half of what you would make on a bride. You're not doing makeup, but you're also spending the entire day getting all your luggage together, condensing your kit. You're going to be traveling to the airport. You're going to be getting to the airport at least 2 hours early. Then you're going to get on a flight, hour, 2 hours, 6-hour flight, maybe more. Then you're gonna get off the plane, you're gonna have to get your luggage. You're going to have to make sure everything got there okay. Get in an Uber or a taxi or rent a car and get to the destination. It's not a short day. Even if it's an hour plane ride away, you're still going to be spending, let's just say, an hour to the airport, 2 hours before, and then an hour on the flight, another hour after the flight, getting your luggage, and let's just say another half hour, you're spending about 6 to 7 hours in that travel day. So it needs to be worth it. So I normally like to say right around 50% of your bridal rate, or if you want just to have your full day rate in there, whatever you would normally charge for your full day rate. This is important because again, you can't take clients on the days that you're traveling. You just cannot. You can't be rushing through another client and then potentially missing your flight. I've had brides even say to me like, oh, well, why don't you take a bride that morning and then I don't have to pay for the day rate? Because if that bride runs late, I'm not rushing out from her. And if I miss my flight to come to you, then you're gonna be really upset with me. So always explaining that to your client is really, really very important. Staying transparent and direct with your clients, especially for destination weddings, is extremely important. Once you have that, you're also going to charge your normal rate for the day that you're working the event. So your bridal rate, anyone else that you're doing that day, if you have an early arrival fee, anything like that, anything that you would normally charge for a bride. Then you're also going to be charging for the day coming back home, whatever that day rate was. Now we know that is what you're going to be making, right? But you're going to have expenses. You're going to have the expense of the Uber bringing you to the airport. Or maybe if you're parking at the airport, whatever that day rate is at the airport that you're parking, you need to know those things first. Once you have that, you also need to add up how much checking your luggage would be. I don't recommend checking your kit, but checking your clothing or anything that's not absolutely essential. You should not be checking in your kit. Now, we kind of talked about it a little bit before, but when you're condensing your kit to travel, what I mean is you're not gonna just take every single thing that you normally would to a wedding because it's just going to get flagged when you're going through security. It's gonna give you a hard time. Products are large. Liquids, you can only bring so much liquid in your carry-on. So you need to condense, you need to know what your client looks like. You need to know what looks they're going for. You need to know the colors that you should be bringing. Because again, you're just not bringing your entire kit. You need to condense, you need to bring the right amount of product that you need for that client or those clients that you will be doing. So research is essential before you go. I know this is a lot of information, but this is how much you have to think about before you do a destination bride. You're gonna bring your condensed kit with you onto the airplane. I'm gonna talk to you guys about how to condense your kit later on in this video. You're going to condense your kit. That's going to come on as your carry-on. You're going to be making sure you're including how much it is to check your luggage. That's gonna be your clothing, anything non-essential that is going to come with you to that wedding. Sometimes I'll put my lights in my checked bag. Sometimes I'll put maybe the stands, the lighting, and any kind of mirrors, anything heavier that I can't really bring on a carry-on will go in there, as well as like any clothing that I need for my personal use. That's another expense. So let's just say $35 each way. So that's $75 that you're spending. Plus again, your taxis or your parking. Then again, you're now also going to be paying for a hotel room, right? I like to book our own hotel rooms within the room block of wherever their wedding is. This is gonna be your best bet. The only thing with that is you're not going to be partying at that hotel. You're going there for business, you're going there for work. You're not going there to lay out at the pool the day that you arrive. Not professional. This is a work trip. But I do recommend staying in the same hotel as your client so that it's easy the day of their event to get to them. Sometimes clients tell you nearby hotels, but if you're staying in a foreign country that maybe you don't know the language, it's not going to be the easiest to get around. And some places just don't have a ton of available taxis in the area. So you don't want to be stuck not being able to get to your client. Staying at their hotel within their room block is always going to be the best, easiest way of travel. So getting the information from them, I normally book all of this on my credit card. This is going to earn you points. This is another thing that you should start thinking about is when you're charging anything, make sure you have a card that is going to get you points. I personally use American Express. I know Chase has a great program. You look into whatever works for you, but those points will be great for you in the long run, right? So it's kind of like a little extra bonus for you at the end of the day, getting those points, and then you could use them for your self-use later on. What else can you include in those expenses? So your travels, your Ubers, your taxis, checked luggage, your hotel stay, anything that is going to be an expense, you need to add that all up for them. Or if you don't have those numbers yet, you need to make them hyper aware that they are responsible for that, all of those things. Because some brides will say, oh, I didn't know that I had to pay for your taxis. Well, a taxi for me or an Uber for me to get from my home in Central Jersey to the airport, it's gonna cost me $200 each way. So that $400 is not coming out of my pocket to come to your wedding. Very important. to explain to your client prior to going there or prior to them even signing a contract, because you want them to have a full understanding of what they are going to be paying and what they're responsible for before signing that contract that will make them legally liable to pay you for. So now all of those expenses, all of this needs to be sent to your client, add it all up to the best of your ability. I do recommend, if you are going to a different country, having a travel agent help you out is just gonna make it so much easier, because they will set up your transportation, they will set up getting you into those hotels, they will be there. If there's any issues, you call them, you can make sure they have your back, and they will make sure that you get there safely and on time. Also, you don't travel to a different country or really even a different state by yourself. I don't like to go to any clients by myself. A lot of these people that you're going to be flying to destinations for, you probably will never meet in person. Never. So just for safety reasons, even just traveling, you should always require an assistant. That's another fee that needs to be added in, because they're going to be traveling with you as well. They need to cover their Ubers, they need to cover their baggage, they need to cover their hotel room, say if you guys are not staying in the same hotel room. So all of these expenses, I know, seem a little bit overwhelming, but if you don't explain this to your client, that can far outweigh what you will be getting paid. So you need to make sure that they are not only paying you for your services and your travel days, but also covering your expenses. Now, this will make sure that you're profiting, you're making money, and it's worth it for you to leave your clients back home to come to their wedding. So we just talked about all the financials, right? Talked about what it's gonna cost us. We talked about the expenses. We talked about how much you should be making off of it, your day rates, your regular rate. Now, a lot more goes into it. It's not just like grabbing your kit and getting on a flight. You can't do that. You need to condense your kit. This is another reason why we charge a little bit more for destination weddings. You're not doing what you would just normally do. You need to prepare so much more before you go to a destination client. You need to know who you're going to. You need those pictures. You need the inspiration photos of what they want for their big day. You also need to know, if you're doing other clients, you need to know their skin tones. You need to know what colors that client wants them all to be wearing. Maybe there's a specific look that she wants them all to have. Maybe it's a red lip. You need to know all of these things before you go, because you are going to have to condense your kit to allow it to fit into a carry-on. You can't bring all of your liquids. Some setting sprays are 5 ounces of liquid. They're gonna take that away. Some toners that you might be using, skincare especially, most foundations are only about 1 fluid ounce, but they're heavy, they're in glass bottles. You're gonna wanna transfer just what you kind of want to bring with you into little plastic to-go containers. It's gonna make it much easier for you. We will also add my Amazon link so that you guys can see how I condense my kit and the products that I use to make sure that my kit is as light as possible. So that is in my Amazon storefront, and I will also link this to this video, but only bringing what you need. So this is gonna take time. You might need a different train case. You might need other bags to put the liquids in. You need to know the requirements of the airline that you're going on. Making sure your airline that you're traveling on allows you to bring a carry-on bag, that's super important. Don't ever let your kit be checked in. I'm not trying to scare you, but kits can be lost, kits can be stolen. Your kit should always be within sight. So bringing that with you on the plane is very important. Even just being put under where the baggage normally goes, it gets shaken around, things could break. Keeping it with you at all times is extremely important. That's why I'm trying to get through to you that having it as a carry-on is going to be your best bet. Making sure your airline allows you to have a carry-on and figuring out what their rules are for their carry-ons, what liquid sizes are allowed. Do you need them to all be in a quart-sized bag? Knowing all of this prior to getting to the airport, because you don't want to be throwing things away. You don't want to be getting yelled at the check-in line. Yes, your bag will probably get pulled from security. Yes, they will probably open it up. Yes, they will talk to you about it, but they will close it back up if it is properly packed. If you did not properly pack it and you did not condense, you might be getting hundreds of dollars taken away from you at security, and that is the worst feeling in the world. So please listen to me when it comes to condensing. I will make another video on exactly how I like to bring my bag with me and that whole process. Just easy tips: condense, keep it small, keep it what you need and what you know you need, and just doing your homework with your client to know what you need. I also like to make sure my brushes are clean prior to getting there. You don't want to do a client that morning again, get on a flight and have all these dirty brushes, because then you're going to have to bring brush cleaner, you're going to have to bring the soaps, you're going to have to make sure you have time to get them clean and dry prior to doing your client. So making sure you have a different set of completely clean, sanitized brushes with you, very important. And also bring a small brush cleaner or a brush soap with you to be able to clean things as you go if needed. As I said earlier, when you're going to these destination brides, you are not going there for vacation. So again, you're not hanging out by the pool, you're not getting wasted by the pool, getting drunk in your bikini. It's just so unprofessional. So if you do want to extend your trip, which I do often, I like to extend my trip if I'm going somewhere new or somewhere that I really would love to see more of. I'll extend my trip, and that comes out of pocket. That is not on my client to spend money on. That is just for me to, that comes out of my pocket if I have extra days at a different hotel. That's when I recommend staying at a different hotel, is if now it's your time. Maybe you came a few days early. I recommend doing your client and then staying after, because you've gotten your work out of the way. You don't have to worry about anything. God forbid something happens to you or your assistant, it happens after all the work. Staying at a different hotel, if you're extending your stay, is a good idea. Then you don't have to worry about running into your client. Also, just the professional level. I know a lot of people get so excited that they've just been flown out for a client and they'll go out to dinner and stay out late, or maybe there's maybe a concert going on there. I've heard it all. You don't want to be that person that shows up hungover to their client. You don't want to be that drunk person at the pool before the big day for your client. So staying professional is extremely important. So quick overview, make sure your client's aware of all of the expenses, make sure they're aware of your pricing for the actual makeup application. Make sure that you are condensing your kit ahead of time. Make sure your products and your brushes are clean ahead of time. Make sure that you have your Ubers or your taxi rides all set up. You don't have to worry about them. Make sure that it's going to be easy and smooth. Make sure you have a good timeline for the event day, and make sure you have a good plan of how to get home safely and easily, and make sure that you have someone with you. And definitely don't forget to take content while you're there. If you're going, again, you should have an assistant. Make sure they're taking behind the scenes videos of you. You want to make sure other clients know that you do this, and it's going to be awesome for you. I was able to travel 1 to 2 times a month last year before I got pregnant, and it was so much fun, and I got to see so much of the world with me and my team, and it's just memories and experiences that I will always hold on to and I will never forget. And they will be memories and experiences that you will never forget. So as long as you keep these things in mind and take these tips and tricks that I'm giving you, it will make your life so much easier when you're taking these clients. You won't have any issues. You won't have people trying to get one over on you or not understanding why they're paying that. So again, be transparent with your client, be prepared, and you will crush any destination client that comes your way. See you guys in the next video.